All right. Good afternoon. This is TD Talk. My co-host Dave is out today traveling. So we're gonna do a college edition today. So we'll go ahead on into the college edition, but we'll also do an NFL edition tomorrow. It'll be a tomorrow. We'll do a morning NFL Sunday pick for y'all. Okay, so we'll get right into it. Last week we saw great games. Colorado, I know Colorado was, and one thing about Colorado, man, they always got the show. Okay, we talked about it a little bit last week, but again this week they facing a good opponent, and we'll start there. First off, looking at Colorado, boy, when you look at Colorado, you got to know that you're gonna see a show. Now, this today, I think that they're gonna face their toughest competition. Colorado, they got them right now at 13.5. I think they opened at 14 and a half. But the spread did go down a little bit. 13.5 minus 110. And then over under 61 and a half, minus 110 on that. And then your money line odds for Colorado are plus 390, with UCF coming in at minus 525. So what it looks like here is the odds makers have it that Colorado is pretty much going to get blown out. Okay. They think it's a two touchdown or better. And then you pretty much got to lay your money on two touchdowns or better for UCF as a favorite. Me personally, I'm a ride with Colorado. Okay. I think that this game is pivotal. Okay. Because we saw them last year. I think that last year they were want to say 3-0, maybe 3-1. I think they went 3-0, then 3-1. No, because they might have went 2-1, then 3-1, then 4 and because they never made it a 4-1. But if they win this game this year, that means they'll go to 4-1, and that's huge. I think that's huge for them because that shows. I think that maybe a little bit of improvement from last year. But I'll tell you what. 4-0 doesn't mean 10-0. 4-1 doesn't mean 10-1 or 11-1. So with that being said, I think that, just because they're gonna get to 4-1 doesn't mean that they're gonna have a great stellar season here, and doesn't mean that they'll be uh, a favorite or a good option to walk on into the college playoff. So I'm taking Colorado on this. It's gonna be an interesting game. They really need this game, and I think from the game they played last game, Baylor, great. They showed up when it counted, a double overtime to ice that game, and Travis Hunter showed up. So I think that with them needing this game pretty much to keep their college football playoff hopes alive, I think that they'll either uh, toughen up and stand tall against the UCF team, or they may lose by a touchdown or a field goal. I don't think there's a two touchdown or better game. I would take it to be safe plus 14 and a half. I wouldn't take the 13 and a half. I take 14 and a half. Let's just say that two touchdowns is a thing, or somewhere in that ballpark, 10 points, two touchdowns, 14. You still get your money. So I like Colorado here at plus 14 and a half, plus 14 and a half. All right, next game that we're gonna pull up on college ball game is this game. I like this game. Florida and SMU. Okay, Florida SMU game here. I think that this is gonna be a good one. I really think that this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be an underrated matchup. I feel like here, Florida State, uh, 1-3. Excuse me, 0-4, Florida State 0-4, and then 2-2 SMU. We saw them go SMU go back to back or head to head with TCU. High scoring game. No defense. Okay, at all. No defense. The defense didn't get off the bus. Okay, all they brought was offense and a little bit more offense. Okay, they packed their bag full of offense. So I don't think that this will be that type of game. Florida State is struggling. Uh, Coming in 0-4, DJ Uiagalelei is not the answer. He's more like the question. But plus 6, I feel like is right on the spread. I would take um, uh, under over here 46 and a half, and then plus 185 on Florida and minus 225. Some of y'all out there are still hoping Florida State is picks up and becomes what they were last year. Florida State 2023 is over. Okay, that's over. Okay, uh, I'm taking SMU here minus 225. They have a packed offense, and I feel like they have actually some really good receivers out there, underrated guys out there on that edge. So I'm taking SMU 2-2. I'm taking SNU to beat Florida State here. They go 0-5. I'm sorry, DJ Uyunglele. There is no defense that will be playing it on SMU side. Florida State probably will have the better defense here, but SMU has probably the better offense here. I don't think DJ Uyunglele gets it going tonight. I don't think he gets it going at all. I don't have no faith in that guy. So I'll tell you what, Florida State versus SMU. Put your money on SMU. Okay. Let's roll into the next game here. I think this is going to be an underrated game. We're going into the night game. Okay. Washington State versus Boise State. Boise State probably has arguably the best running back in college football. Mark my words, Genty. Okay. He probably will be a first round talent coming out the draft. Okay. But they got him at minus 6.5. And then Washington State plus 6.5, minus 110 for your money. Over under 65.5. And then you have money line plus 200 and minus 240 for Boise State in this one. And I really do think that that's right. Boise State, barring some type of injury to Genty, knock on wood here. Genty, great back. Listen, he started the season, broke out the season with over 200 yards and 6 touchdowns. Tell me who's doing it. Tell me who's doing it. This back is ridiculous. Okay, I like Genty. I've been betting on Genty ever since that first game. He's been making me money too. I love Genty in this one. I think that they feed their back. Washington State has a little ways to go. A tough team. I will say a tough team. But with Cam Ward going down to Miami and doing what he's doing in Miami, I don't think that Washington State has enough pieces. Still, I think that they were a veteran team last year when they played Washington and gave Washington fits for Washington versus Washington State. I know that they um, that was a good game last year, but this game with Boise State late night, I'm taking Boise. I'm taking Boise money line. I think it'll be a tight game. And Boise get out of here with a 3 point field goal win. I don't think that they'll get out of there with a touchdown. I think it'll really be close. And I think that Boise State comes out with the win. Okay. All right. Let's go into the matchup for the North Carolina matchup. You know, we got to touch on this. Okay. This is coming up here. I think this is a 3:30 block. But we got to touch on this. This Battle of the Carolinas always is a rivalry. Okay, either this one or NC State if they play, and then of course you got Wake Forest that give you some good work. NC North Carolina rivalry, but North Carolina versus Duke. It's at Duke, and North Carolina is coming off some embarrassment. 70-50 to James Madison. This is ridiculous. They paid James Madison $500,000 to come down there and give some whipping on them. Okay, if it was me, they wouldn't get no money. Okay? They wouldn't get no money. All right, you done beat up on me, and you trying to take my money? Nah, it ain't happening. You better get back on the bus and drive back on down to James Madison. So, but that was a embarrassing to me, embarrassing loss for North Carolina, especially and things have been going the right way for North Carolina. I think that they started the season and it was promising, and then their quarterback went down in the first game. So ever since then, I don't think that they've been able to regroup. I think that they're starting to lose hope on what they can be this season. And then I think this is a perfect storm for Duke to kind of come on in. I haven't watched a lot of Duke, but I know he went on down to North Dakota, Notre Dame, and he's playing out of there now. So I haven't watched a lot of Duke, but I'll tell you what, this is a +1 game, money line game. Really, we can call it a money line game, +100 for North Carolina, just because of what happened last night. I mean, last week, and then Duke, you got 2-1-1 on Duke, but here's the 2-1-1 on the under over. But here's the thing. This is just a plus one game. I would take money line. Either way, it's a pick 'em game. I'm not too fond on Tar Heels, but I'm not too. I didn't watch too much of Duke this season either. So just to touch on it, I think that it's going to be a really good game, something to watch. Um, I don't think the 61 is promising, but I haven't watched a lot of Duke. I don't know if they have good defense. I know that North Carolina could put up points, but I also know that they have no defense as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really good game, a battle of the North Carolinas, and that's something to watch. I think that that'll be something really good to look at. Now let's come on to our game of the week. I feel like this is the biggest game. I think that we'll see. One of the biggest games we'll see all season. Okay, looking at this, breaking this down team by team. You got Alabama versus Georgia. This is a classic matchup. I think this is where the legacy of Jalen Hurts was born. Um, this is where the legacy of Jalen Hurts was born. I remember when Tua Tagovailoa took his spot the year prior, and then he kind of put his time in, earned his time on the bench, and then when Tua went down, Jalen Hurts came in. He stepped up, and that team, that Georgia team, was actually beating Alabama at that point, and Jalen Hurts brought them back and won that game. They won that game because of Jalen Hurts, and I think that after that, a lot of people started to raise an eyebrow and go, "Wait a minute, this Jalen Hurts guy is something serious." So I think it's just one of those type of games, like stars are born type. It's just got all of that pressure built up on a pressure cookie. It just breeds big moments. So I think that this is going to be Kalen DeBoer's moment. Kalen DeBoer. A lot of people don't know about Kalen DeBoer. And I'll tell you what, Kalen DeBoer, he's a winner. He's coming out of Washington. He had Penix as a quarterback last season, um, and they went all the way to the national championship. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna tell you what one thing too. Kalen DeBoer is a really good coach. He's a really good coach. He's an underrated coach. I know everybody's really still familiar with Nick Saban, but I watched a lot of Washington the last couple of years. I know the year before last they lost 2 games in the regular season. The year before last, and then last year under Penix, they both years Penix was there, but the last year under Penix, I know that they ran the table. They went undefeated all the way until Texas. Texas, they went through Texas in the college football playoffs, and then they ended up having a tough go at it against Michigan. But let me tell you one thing, and this is facts. Okay, first of all, this is facts. Kalen DeBoer is 107-12. This guy has 12 losses his entire career. Entire career. Listen, I don't care what level you coach on. If you coach high school football, if you coach college football, let's say the D3 level, D2 level, even D1 lower division type Midwest level, if you only have 12 losses in your entire career and 107 wins, I think Nick Saban has 298, 95 wins and 71 losses. He's got a better winning percentage than Nick Saban. So I get it. I get it. A lot of people gonna say, "Hey, you ain't in the SEC. You didn't coach a lot in prime time, big Power Five football." But listen, Kalen DeBoer is a winner. Okay, Georgia, they got Kirby over there. We know what they got. They got Carson Beck and that powerhouse of an offense. Maybe not a lot of great receivers this year, but they run the ball well, and they have a pretty decent defense. But listen, Georgia almost lost to unranked Kentucky last week. I get it. The quarterback came from Georgia, spent a lot of time in Georgia, but at the end of the day, Kentucky was unranked, and they came in there and almost stole that game. Georgia got out that game with 1 point. They got out that game with 1 point. So this is gonna be a really good game. I know that both teams coming in undefeated. Georgia number 2, Alabama number 4. It will be one of those great games for the books. -1 spread for Georgia. Georgia the favorite only by 1 point. 49.5 is the under over line. -110, and then you got -125 on the money line here. Also, you got plus 105 for Alabama on the money line, and then they're a +1 underdog at home. Okay, that hasn't happened in a while. Alabama being an underdog, first of all, but then Alabama being an underdog at home. So this doesn't happen often. And if you want to ask me, I'm riding with the win percentage. I'm riding with the coach that was just in the national championship. I'm riding with the big A, baby. I'm riding with the A, taking Alabama today. I think that they take Georgia. I think Kalen DeBoer shows up. I think Jalen Milroe, he has a good game. I think that they have a little bit more pieces on offense than Georgia does. And I think that they're going to go out there and put up points on Georgia. And I really think that they're going to show the world that, hey, Nick Saban's gone. This is the Kalen DeBoer era because that man knows how to win football games. Now, do I think it's going to be a blowout either way? No, it's going to be a tough game, tight game, all the way down to the fourth. And I think in the fourth quarter, Alabama going to open that thing up. I think they may open it up in the first. Georgia may come back and start to slow that thing down, get the game within a 3-1 possession game. Alabama going to take that and take off. Okay, so that's what I think. Put your money on Alabama. Definitely put your money on Alabama. Um, I would like to see Alabama pretty much take this game over. Okay, pretty much take this game over. Now, we have one more game I wanted to touch on here that I was very interested in. Um, that I was very interested in. Now, this game is going to be a good one. Okay, Ohio State, they are 3-0 coming on into the division. They had 3 really weak games, so we don't really know what this team is about. But I'm gonna tell you what, Jeremiah Smith, okay, that's the wide receiver on the outside. True freshman. Okay, last year I watched a lot of his games on YouTube. His high school Chaminade Madonna coming out of Florida. Them boys were nothing to be played with. Okay, them boys were nothing to be played with. Chaminade Madonna won, I think, back-to-back state championships, if I'm not mistaken. And the quarterback went down to North Carolina State, went down to NC State. He just actually played Tennessee. He's the backup quarterback, though, not the one that transferred in from Coastal Carolina, the rookie. I mean, or the freshman. He just got there at North Carolina State. I'm blanking on his name. 6'6", tall guy, maybe 189, 85, 190 pounds, right around in that ballpark. But he had his first real start against Clemson. He didn't look bad. There was one point he was 9 for 9. I think he was 9 for 9, but the line was just folding, lawn chair style, folding on him. And he's a tough kid, but you 6'6" in the backfield. He needs to probably put on a little bit of weight, but um, he can throw a great ball. He can throw a great ball, and he's accurate. That kid's accurate. Look out for him. The backup quarterback. I think he's starting right now because the starter's hurt, transferred from Coastal Carolina, fifth-year senior. But the backup, 6'6", 200 pounds, coming out of Chaminade Madonna. I cannot think of his name. I'll get y'all his name here in a little bit. But Ohio State, his receiver, the receiver that he used to throw to, and he won those state championships with, is Jeremiah Smith. Okay, that's one of his receivers. I think he was number 5 in high school, but very stout receiver. This man has sure hands. This man's quick. He's got a good 1-2 quick move that'll get you off the line. He creates separation, and he is a sure-handed receiver down there in Ohio State. And Ohio State, they know how to breed receivers. You think of Marvin Harrison Jr., just came out, just went to Arizona Cardinals, coming out of Ohio State. And this guy, Jeremiah Smith, is a freshman. A freshman. Now, I think you see him a lot in this game. if there's a prop, receiving prop for him, I would take it. I think that this is one of those games he's going to show up big, and they're going to need him to show up big. They got Ohio State here minus 23.5, minus 110 on that bet, and then you got 47.5 is the under over with minus 2,800 on Ohio State plus 1,300 on Michigan State. Now, Michigan State, I don't think they have much to offer here. I mean, Ohio State is dominant. I think this will be a dominant performance. I'd be shocked if it was if it was less than a two-score game. I'd be shocked. But Michigan State, I'll tell you what, Michigan State is a Big Ten program, so this is really in conference play. If you want to look at it, those first three games Alabama had were kind of like tune-up games. I guess you call exhibition, maybe not scrimmage because they count, but exhibition type, games for them where they just really needed to kind of see what the team was about. Little tune up, tighten up little parts and pieces here, figure out who has the toughness and who's gonna show up in those big moments. Jeremiah Smith, look for him. I think that take the prop bet on him on the over. If it's over 70, 80 yards, I would take it. Anything over that, let's say if it's 100, 110, I think that'd be a little too much. I think I could see him getting 100, maybe 90, and then the game probably will be out of reach at that point. They may sit them, they may not go to them as much. But anything over 80, I mean, anything under 90, 85-ish, I would take that bet. Okay. All right. So I got my ticket here that I would like to show y'all. This is the picks that I got for today. Also, Oklahoma. I meant to talk to you about Oklahoma as well. Oklahoma versus Auburn. Let me get into that real quick, and then I'll show y'all my ticket. So Oklahoma versus Auburn, right? Auburn has got this two quarterback type system that they're trying to work. And we know when you have two quarterbacks, when you have three quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. Okay. Let me break that down. Well, you have two quarterbacks, two guys that you supposedly can rely on. You don't have one go-to guy, right? You have this guy that you're trying to start, but then he's good at this, and you have a package for him. But this guy, he's more of a rhythm-based, take the check down, take this pass, and then he kind of finds himself in a rhythm where he's matriculating it down the field. Well, he throws a couple passes, and then all of a sudden you got the other guy trotting in. You say, hey, come on in for 2nd and 5, and you run the read option real quick and see if you can get us a first down. The other guys on sidelines, like, still got his helmet strapped, maybe popped it off for a quick breather. He's cooling down. He's not in his rhythm where he's able to kind of call and make audibles and check his reads and feel the flow of that game. Kills the momentum of an offense. If you got two quarterbacks, in my opinion, you have no quarterback. Okay. So I think what's going to happen is that the Auburn, they lead the I don't know, very high. I wouldn't say lead, but I would say very high amount of takeaways. I think you're gonna see pick city when we talk about Auburn. They're gonna be taking that ball away from the offense. Oklahoma, their quarterback, he struggled against Tennessee last week. I mean, when I say struggle, he struggled. They borderline talking about benching the kid. But I'm gonna tell you what, the scheme, the game plan, the approach that Oklahoma took against Tennessee, didn't help the quarterback out. But I will say that the quarterback himself didn't look good. So when you look at them playing Auburn, a team that really high amount of takeaways, the quarterback from Oklahoma is high in throwing the ball away, you'll see a lot of takeaways. But I just think that when Auburn gets the takeaway, when they get the pick, when they get the fumble, they're going to pass it over to the Auburn offense. They're not going to be able to do anything with it. That two quarterback system is going to kill their momentum. To me, I see the under. I see Oklahoma just having enough running backs and enough small plays to get enough points on the board. I think Oklahoma takes it. I think Oklahoma also, they don't score a lot of points. I don't think that Auburn scores a lot of points unless they're doing pick six, pick six, pick six, pick six. I don't see the offense doing anything tonight. This would be a ticket of mine. You can parlay it. as I did here, but I also taken some of these guys straight up. I'm going Oklahoma. I like them. We talked about them. I like the under 49.5. I like Michigan here as well. You got Michigan, Minnesota on this list. Michigan runs the ball. They're really run heavy, and Minnesota, their defense is pretty good, but I don't think that they're good enough to stop Michigan's tough offensive pressure. Now, a lot of people thinking because Jim Harbaugh is gone and he's gone to the Chargers. Sharon Moore, trust me, he knows what to do. He knows how to coach. He's been under Harbaugh for long enough. When Harbaugh had his 4 game suspension, Sharon Moore had no problem taking over the reins. So I I don't think that they have any, you know, trouble running that ball down Minnesota's throat. Now, I feel like if Minnesota can get up early where they force Michigan to have to pass the ball, that's not somewhere they feel comfortable at. And I don't think they have enough talent to actually pass that ball. So that's if that happens, I think that Michigan could take a loss. But I think as far as Michigan going down the field, running the ball, being able to get into the end zone early, maybe go up 10, 3, 10, 7, and be able to play their style of offense, I don't see Minnesota having a chance to stop those running backs. They elite. They are elite. All right, then I got BYU. We saw what they did to Kansas State last week. That Friday, that last Kansas game, bust my parlay. I had like a 5 pick parlay. Won all 4 legs, waiting on that Kansas State game at like 10 o'clock that Friday night, and BYU came in and stunned, absolutely stunned Kansas State. Kansas State was riding on a high, and they definitely got hit with a uppercut they couldn't recover from. Also, I got Colorado. Like I say, I'm taking a 14.5. I'm taking SMU, scoring on Florida State. Florida State don't have enough to me. And then Boise State, I'm taking them with the best running back in the country in Genty. Okay, remember, this is our college picks on TD Talk. My co-host is out. He's on the way back from vacation. He was kicked up, feet back, drinking mimosas and stuff like that with his wifey. So he'll be back tomorrow. We're going to do a Sunday NFL football talk for TV Talk. You guys tune in, probably be in the morning, 10, 11 o'clock. We'll go live. So y'all come back, get you some NFL picks for NFL Sunday. Get paid, you know what I mean? We'll give you some stuff to throw in your parlay. Now, don't forget, follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube. At the moment, we got them both up. We put all our videos up there. If y'all want to go back and check out what we got going on, subscribe. We're going to build this channel as we go. This is TD Talk. Like I say, we just getting started, just getting rolling. But Tev and Dave, we sit here and talk, and we get our bets out on the line, and we show what we have. Again, we got some stuff for you guys as parlays. And also, this is my college football picks for this week. This is the lineup that I have. Again, if you guys want to screenshot this, I have this posted on the YouTube page. You guys go follow us on YouTube. Go follow us on Instagram. We really do appreciate y'all. As we grow as a brand and as a channel, you guys will get paid with us. Get your parlays. TD Talk. This is week 4, college football picks. We'll see y'all tomorrow. All right.